these efforts to engage them with our brand and to try to motivate them to change their purchase behavior and build brand affinity over a longer period of time. How do we do that with this group? And even more specifically, how do we use these social media tools that everybody's been talking about, and how do we use them effectively to talk to the group? So I had a few slides just by way of introduction, but it was essentially to tell you that, yep, they're 80 million strong. The group is about 25% larger than the Gen X generation, that group, and they're about equal in size to the boomer population. Their purchasing power is just coming into its own, and so what I've found very interesting, and you may have read it in the last Loyalty 360, is I equate our entire business as being formed from 1980 was when it was launched until now, is being in some stage of adolescence. The people that generally have led this business for the last 20 years, you'd have to say are in the boomer generation. Nothing wrong with that. I'm part of that group. But at the same time, you can also make a clear generalization and say that we've designed programs for ourselves. So we've designed programs that are appealing to ourselves, and this might be a real demarcation point in our business going forward, where for the first time we're going to have to start designing programs and trying to create ways to engage with the target audience when we don't really understand the target audience. We don't understand them culturally, and we don't quite understand the way they operate. We see them texting while they're driving, and we say, bad boy, bad girl, stop doing that. We see them sitting at home, somehow able to do homework, play a game, listen to music, and actually have a conversation with a sibling all at once, and somehow they can do that too. So it's you know, in some of the work that I've done, I've come up with several conclusions about how to engage this group, and the key one for me is, at some point you have to say, I don't need to understand it. I just need to figure out how to engage them. So I don't have to like Twitter. I don't have to like Facebook. I don't have to necessarily use any of these things. Now I do, because I'm in the business. But you don't have to use the tools, and you don't have to personally relate to why they work and that you like them and you spend time on those during the day. But if you're going to serve this tremendous market, you're going to have to figure out how to put them to use in your business. So what we did today was to gather up a panel of experts who are all working either in that social media space or working more specifically with very large client groups within that demographic. And so we have Atle Skalleberg, we have Bjorn Larson, and we have Raji Thomas. And I'll introduce them briefly, and then we've got a series of questions to sort of kick off the topic, maybe a general question or two, and then at some point, if there are questions, once we go through, let's say, one loop of questions, if people have things that are on their mind and want to raise their hand, and if I can see them past the bright light there, we'll invite a discussion and we'll have more of a conversation. So let me just introduce our three panelists. Bjorn first. Bjorn is the founder and executive vice president for Enhance, and he's helped build some of the most successful student discount businesses in the world, including formerly Student Universe. He's a board member for Mercinet, an organization offering thousands of discounts to more than 1 million Swedish students through a partnership with the Swedish government. Now, Raji Thomas at the end is a very fascinating guy. He was really a pioneer in the email marketing business, and now has taken the skills and knowledge from that business and is applying it to the social media space. He's co-founder and CEO of ID Solutions, and he's been in this social media email marketing business for over 9 years. He's a former president of Epsilon Interactive, which is a division of Alliance Data, and that was a business that was formed through the creation of Bigfoot Interactive and DoubleClick's Email Solutions Group. So he's now co-founded ID Solutions, which is a social media marketing services provider for direct marketers. The flagship product that they brought to market so far is Sweet Dialogue, which provides an on-demand platform for marketers looking to create a dialogue with their audience on social networking platforms. So he's right in the middle of this business in this space. And then Atle Skalleberg is the guy who's working with over 1 million university students in this country and has firsthand knowledge of their behavior patterns and some of their preferences. Right now he's vice president of marketing for Student Universe, and he's managing the marketing and business development for the world's largest online travel agency. So he obviously has a very clear understanding of that group and some of their behaviors. So this should be a great conversation. And I would just kick it off by asking Bjorn, the first thing that I've seen a lot is that we, as marketers and even as stakeholders in businesses, whether you're in a retailer or a bank, we create life cycle marketing plans, and we create plans to market to 18 to 24-year-olds. A lot of them don't get executed because we don't see the profitability in that age group. So, very basic question, why should we market to 18 to 24-year-olds in the first place, and where are the advantages that we can enjoy in the business?
Well, I think what you said is probably the most important one, the lifetime loyalty. This group they have so many years ahead of them of spending and of shopping and interaction. And if you look at some of the really successful brands out there, I think Apple is a great example. No offense to your Dell there. But they really did this they made a strategic decision many years ago to focus on the education market, to get people to start using Macs. And it's been taking years for them to actually get the penetration that they have today. And it's a strategic decision that often is taken at a higher strategic level. So the lifetime loyalty, and then also the fact that these people, they're sort of the people who help all the people around them make decisions, especially on the newer technology kind of things, but also about simple purchase decisions. You have a lot of parents, and people that are connected to this age group that look for advice because they're really very much in the know. And then the fact that they're really connected, so they're connected to not only their peers but also their parents and everybody around them. So if you can, when we were at Student Universe, I worked at Student Universe as well. We asked how many of how did you hear about us, and 80% said through friends, through a classmate, or through my professor. So the word of mouth is just amazing in that group. So if you find a good way to talk to them in a transparent way, you have them for life, hopefully, and at least you have a shot at it.
Okay, great.